This is a place you've probably never heard of. Molokai doesn't usually pop up on the tourist radar when you're planning a trip to the Hawaiian Islands, and they are more than okay with that. Truth be told, I'd never heard of it either until an episode of Anthony Bourdain's Parts Unknown, and from that moment on, I dreamed of experiencing this place for myself. And to dive a little deeper, I'm heading to the Hālawa Valley, which is said to be home to the earliest settlement in all of the Hawaiian Islands. Good morning. From the island of Molokai in the islands of Hawaii. I just flew in last night from the island of Hawaii, and I'm only here for a few days, but I want to make the most of it. I have been dying to experience this place. It's a little bit lesser known than the Oahu's or the Maui's, and that's exactly why I wanted to come here. So, full disclosure, when the Tourism Board of Hawaii invited me to come and experience these islands, they said, which two do you really want to go to? And the first one that popped in my mind was Molokai. I have only heard things about it. I've only heard it's more remote, and they're really trying to hang on to the community aspect of the Hawaiian culture, and I really respect it and appreciate that. Hopefully this video doesn't affect them in a negative way with more people coming. Let's hope it just sheds light on a beautiful community in a remote place in the world. And I'm ready to meet up with a local guide. He should be here any minute. We're gonna go explore. Let's go. I'm greeted by my local connect, Greg Solatorio, one of 6 children of Pilipo Solatorio, the last living Hawaiian descendant to be born and raised in the Hālawa Valley, who still resides here. Greg follows in his father's footsteps as the caretaker of this land and has taken on the responsibility of carrying on their traditions and cultural practices.
You know, so this is where I live. This is my lifestyle.
This is beautiful.
So traditional as possible. So I get a lot of people says, you Hawaiians still live in grass shacks? I says, we live in shacks, but not grass anymore.
You use the resources that you have available, right?
Oh yes, my whole place is recycled.
Now, most visitors come here for a quick cultural overview and a hike to a beautiful waterfall at the back end of the valley. But I was fortunate enough to be invited to stay overnight and spend the entire day with Greg and the family to experience just what a day in the life is really like here. And that all starts with a traditional welcoming ceremony.
So in our culture, well, I don't know if anybody's ever taught you what this is called. You know what this is?
Conch.
Everybody knows it as a conch. In our culture, we call this the pu.
The poo.
P-U.
P, okay.
So this is our means of communication. This is our telephone. So today in modern times, what people see this used for is to run down Waikiki to light torches. Start hula shows, start luau's. This is not what it was used for. This is our means of communication. So if I use it to start parties every day, when I call for help or send messages for emergencies or signals, nobody believes me. Why? Because it's like crying wolf.
Yeah. Someone just thinks there's a happy hour.
Exactly. So this is how we announce arrival. So before we went into anybody's district or community, for instance, say if someone wants to come over from Maui on a canoe, they stop their canoe outside my bay 1.5 miles out. 1.5 miles around this island belongs to the people of this island. That is how we feed our families. The same with every other island. Anything outside that 1.5 miles is free fishing, like international waters for anybody.
Okay.
So pretty much like countries.
Yeah.
So now, if someone wants to come in on their canoe, they stop their canoe 1.5 miles out, they blow.
Yeah.
If you get a blow back, you're allowed to come into my bay. If you don't get a blow back, you stay out there and you blow till you blew in the face. You're not welcomed in, not a good day to come in. So it's like a telephone call, but also like ringing the doorbell. That is how it went in our culture. Today, nobody practices that because everybody's got cell phones, not shell phones anymore. You know?
Yeah.
So that is what we're going to do right now is we're going to go through protocol. The first blow is going to recognize our arrival. It's going to let my cousins and family members know I have guests coming through today, and my dad is going to blow back
Okay.
to welcome us in.
E o ana kala Pilipo kam opuna kani o kumele na ho pi ame e sepa kamana o mata ho kua o Hālawa. Me te aloha mai tana au mai ta aina. Lavia mai kamakani o halaga ike. Ka pulila mai na la kuku o kalani kaula. Pahea hea mai. Kumu mai iloko. Kumu mai iloko.
Pilipo Solatorio welcomes us. I bring a gift, as should anyone arriving in someone else's home, and we greet each other the traditional way.
Yep, now me and you. Now you stand on the inside of me. Now you're officially welcome.
Once inside, I spend the first part of the day just listening and asking questions. I'm embarrassed by how little I actually know about Hawaiian culture. But Greg and his father are happy and honored to shed light on my ignorance. All right, we're just sitting here going over some of the history, going over some of the heritage and culture of this incredible valley. And the number one thing I have to correct before I move on is I am not saying I thought I was doing a good job by calling it Molokai. But immediately, Greg tells me,
Molokai, not Molokai.
Molokai. Molokai.
And what Molokai means is the twisting and gathering of ocean waters.
I had no idea Hawaii was once all independent islands, and that one king, Kamehameha, united them all with help from British backers. I had no idea that they never wanted to become a territory, yet alone a state.
They forced the queen off of the throne at gunpoint, made her sign a treaty, and that is how we became part of the United States today. So that is why there's big animosity between Hawaiian people and the United States, just like the Indians and the United States. Same thing with our native people. Same thing that happened to our native people, or happened to the Indians, happened to our people here. It just, a lot of the people in the when I grew up, I didn't learn about this, because in my history books in school, it says Queen Liliuokalani willingly signed the treaty to the United States government. That is what, but in 1993, they found the Queen's journal.
Really?
And in her handwritten journal, told the story of how she was overthrown, put in jail, and her palace, she was imprisoned in the palace. She could not leave the palace grounds. 1893 to 1993, that is when our sovereignty movement started. Wow. The Queen's story was found. A journal that was supposed to be destroyed by the US government.
Wow.
So there's a lot of history in our culture and things which a lot of people don't understand, because visitors don't learn this part about our culture. A lot of visitors who come here to Hawaii thinks it's just a beautiful tropical you-go party place. But there's more to Hawaii than just the beaches, the scenery, the luau's, and the hula shows. You know, to really see Hawaii is to see the people. And how do you see the people? Is to learn the culture.
And just when I thought I couldn't take in any more information, we get up and start in on our traditional chores for the day. Taro Root, a main staple food for people in the Hawaiian Islands, and in particular this valley. For breakfast, lunch, and dinner, this was a truly traditional cornerstone of survival. We dig up, de-root, wash off, and set it aside to be boiled for a poi pounding and tasting tonight. From here, we make our way down to the ocean, where I attempt to learn the art of net fishing for the first time. All right, we picked some taro, learned a lot about local culture, and now we're gonna go test our strength, test our luck in the waters. We're gonna go try to catch some fish for dinner. To no surprise, the second main ingredient to many Hawaiian households in the past was fish. I just didn't realize how much technique goes into the traditional way of catching them. There's a lot to this fishing stuff. Well, Greg manages to snag one fish in just a few tosses, so we call it a win and move on.
Mullet?
Mullet.
Yep, it's Australian mullet, they call this. So this is just a mullet.
We're gonna fry that up.
Yep.
Next up, it's on to some bigger game. The Halava Valley is filled with deer and feral pigs, so we climb up onto the mountain ridges and try our luck at hunting for our own dinner, just as Greg's ancestors would have done, only with a few weapon upgrades. After fishing, heading up to the mountains.
Wavy strawberry guava.
Good? Oh my god. What is that called?
Wavy.
Vaivi?
Yep, called a strawberry guava.
That's one of the best fruits I've ever had in my entire life.
Right now they're in bloom, so that everything he's feeding on right now.
Oh my god.
This little loop of the tree right across the red dirt, the round green tree. Right next to him look like a deer.
Back at home, we cook up a venison tenderloin and teriyaki sauce, and then set that aside to prepare the taro root we had harvested earlier in the day.
Most people know it as poi.
Boy, yeah.
What we are making is actually called pa'iai.
Pa'iai.
Pa'iai is our taro root grounded down with as least water as possible, so it's a more firm, doughy, sticky consistency.
Okay.
Most people who try poi to get a more bland, watery kind of product out there.
Okay.
Nobody ever gets to try the taro root prepared this way and cooked this way, because not too many people do it like this anymore. It's a lot of water. The only thing we're going to use the water for is to stop it from sticking through the board.
Okay.
My water, I'm going to wet my board. That's going to wet my board, and what we're using the water for is, or the vai, which is water in Hawaiian. Now, although I say we're pounding taro, we're not really pounding taro. Mash it. Now I start my grinding process. We dampen our stove. So this is what we call the la'i, or the taro leaf, like I said.
Okay.
We use it for wrapping our gifts, for cooking. And what it does is it strips the back, the spine right out of my leaf. My leaf is flexible, doesn't rip, doesn't crack, doesn't break. Now we would have this.
Explain it to me. What do we got? We got fish from today.
So we went thrown it today, and what we caught is some mullet, some fish.
Okay.
And what we have is some pa'iai, which is our taro root. And this is what a traditional Hawaiian meal would be. Every single day we would eat fish and poi for breakfast, fish and poi for lunch, fish and poi for dinner, and that is what we would eat in our culture here in this valley here on Molokai.
All right, let's eat some of this.
Give you an idea, this is the fish eye. We love fish eyes in our culture, so I'll eat the first fish eye for you to let you guys know we're not joking. Fish eye. So,
Got a crunch to it.
so there's a second fish eye. So, your turn.
My turn.
Yep, put that whole thing out and bite down on that thing and suck it down.
Fish eye from the fish we caught today.
Protein.
That's protein.
Yeah. So you eat some fish, you eat some poi. So the saltiness and the flavor of the fish goes into the taro that you're eating.
Oh, okay.
That's why we eat it as a combo. So, so fish and poi, which makes a perfect combination.
That's some delicious meat.
And who knew such a little guy like this had so much meat? Yeah.
That's a powerful meal. You got the fish here. The saltiness of the fish rubs off on the poi. And I'll tell you what, this is, you gotta get used to the consistency. It's the mix. If a chewing gum and a potato had a baby, this would be it.
It's a pretty good way of putting
a
it.
little bit gummy, but yeah, it tastes like a potato. True.
Can I get more traditional than that? That is what we eat with our everyday meals, fish and poi.
We are finishing off the day with some fresh venison, teriyaki venison, and I gotta say, it's been an awesome day. When I first heard about Molokai and I wanted to come here, this is what I envisioned, this is what I hoped for, and Greg here made it happen. His family has been on this area in this valley and this island for as long as history can write it, and I got a very little taste of the culture of the heritage here, and it completely blows me away because I've never experienced it. You only know Hawaii as hula dancers and luau's and nice beaches and all-inclusive resorts, but there's so much more to this culture, there's so much more to this place, and I'm happy just to have the opportunity to see it and experience what little of it as I could.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
In our culture, we say mahalo nui loa. That means thank you very much.
Mahalo nui loa.
Yeah. And
Thank you, brother.
Ole pilikia, no problem.
No problem. All right, we're gonna grub on this venison, this teriyaki venison that we just whipped up.
Wish you guys are here.
It's a great day. Learned a little bit about fishing, learned a little bit about hunting, learned a little bit about pulling out the traditional food, the taro root, turning it into a paste, having it with traditional fried fish. This is just a good day. It was a very, very good day. That's it. Hope you guys liked the video.
Ahui ho. Until we meet again. To the island for just see hula girls, Mai Tai, and not really learn about the culture and just enjoy yourself and spend your money and go home, then that's where Waikiki and all those places come into play.
Yeah,
but if you're actually here for learning the culture, the real place you're going to find the culture is in our homes. So, like I said, all the stuff I normally take you do, most people don't ever get to see this stuff, but my own personal friends that come and visit me all the time.
I appreciate it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a lot of people would see stuff that you would show, which normally most people never ever get to see those things which you see today.